This is great. God bless.
God bless the USA.
Thank you, God. Thank you,
Yeah.
God. Thank you, God.
Start singing.
Oh, I don't think we're going to use that camera. No camera 4 tonight.
No, number 4.
No number 4. And we could still even, like, just, there, just scooch a little bit closer.
Yeah, there you go.
It's, like, kind of tight, but, it's hard. Okay, whatever.
Okay, that's fine.
Whatever.
We're
that's
good.
fine.
Okay, I think we're live now. So that's...
Are we really?
Yes. Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, so
Hello.
welcome, everybody. Welcome. My name is Ellie.
My name is Tara.
Yeah, so welcome to the 180 podcast. Before we get into it, I just wanted to mention our socials so you could check us out. Actually, first off, our website so you can find out more about us. It's 180shift.org. Yes. And then all of our socials on Instagram, it's 180.shift. Twitter and TikTok is 180shift, so it's just without the dot in there. Our YouTube is Shift 180 if you're not watching from there. And then Facebook is Tara, letter N, Ellie. Check us out there. We have all our stuff on there. That's where we're mostly at. But today, we're back at the podcast studio.
Yes, yes, we are.
We have been gone for a little while. Obviously, it was New Year's and Christmas. How was your holiday break?
It was busy. You know, I've been moving and stuff, so it's just, and moving in Los Angeles is very difficult. So, yeah, what about you?
Oh, it was good. I mean, it was just... There's nothing to complain about. It was really good time with family, and this year I got to buy everybody presents, so that was fun.
Oh, well, that's so nice, yeah.
I finally got my paycheck, which I spent all of it on presents.
Yeah. Did you notice anything about, like, the prices? Like, I mean, I know you're, like, new to shopping and stuff, but, like...
I mean, I've bought
like
gifts before for my family, but this time... I just used my, like, employee discounts and, like, sales.
So you got,
and so, like...
That's smart.
Yeah, I was using those.
Yeah.
So
I've been hearing people talk about the prices just spiking lately.
And I did see that. I had some stuff on that, but I don't remember where that stuff is. But there's a lot of people who were just
we'll find it
basically saying, I know when I was just scrolling through Instagram, I don't have TikTok, but Instagram, with all the reels, that were just people just saying, like, oh, people are just going to be getting me as their Christmas present this year. Or, like,
expensive,
I hope people are okay with this because I got, the money is it's just not affordable to buy Christmas presents for people.
I saw one thing that said, when you have to choose between food and gas, like money goes to food or gas, it's hard to feel, like, in a celebratory mood. But I think it's important to remember, like, well, it's not about the stuff. It's about the people you're with,
It's about, then that's
not that really it's not awful that we're having to choose between, people are having to choose between gas and food and stuff.
Yeah, I get that, but it's been interesting. But I mean, it's been almost a year. But it's been crazy how much we've grown over the past year. I mean, it's crazy.
I want to hear what's some of your favorite memories when we first started 180 Shift.
Okay. Oh my goodness, that's really big.
Get my water.
You're like, I'm gonna prepare. No, I have just an amazing experience. I think just meeting all sorts of people who have different, like, stories and backgrounds. I think getting to know them is one of my favorites, especially being here on the podcast. I mean, I love being out in the streets and things like that, but it's really cool to just be in the podcast studio and get to know people one-on-one.
So many crazy things, so many headlines, so many big news events happened in 2023. What are your top 3 most memorable, most favorite interviews?
Oh my goodness, that is such a hard question, too.
I know.
I don't know.
I had to spring it on you. I had to. You think about that, and I'll talk about my first memories. Okay, so my when I first got involved with 180, it was just because I had been going around just sharing with people my experience with Planned Parenthood and my decisions that I think improved my life for the better, and I noticed I was a lot happier than a lot of people my age. I feel more in general, I feel more confident, more decisive, more I just feel like I know why I'm working. I know what I'm working towards, and part of that is because I'm a mother. A big part of that is because I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a young wife, so taking care of my family is my biggest priority. And I was sharing that with someone, and then they said, hey, we're doing this Gen Z initiative. And, next thing you know, I met Ellie, and we was starting this podcast a few months later. So, man, some of my favorite experiences have just been like, I've never done a podcast before. I've had huge learning curves, but it's been so fun working on it. I've been so grateful for everyone who's watched, everyone who's been on. And I think my favorite thing has been the guests. It has been so amazing just having people on this show and being able to just pick their brain about their expertise or what they're passionate about. I mean, I am so happy that I've been able to do that for a large part of 2023. So I think that's my biggest takeaway. And, I haven't, because I'm at home, I'm with my kids a lot. I haven't been able to go to a lot of the man on the street stuff, but when I have, it's been awesome. So do you have any, what's your top 3?
One of them that was one of my favorites, and it wasn't just because of the quality of the interview. It wasn't necessarily because of that, even though it was a good interview to have. Yeah. It was more about having to put a little bit of my skills to the test when it came to getting an interview. And that was with Mike Garcia. Okay. I was at an event, and I had my eyes set on getting him because he's such like a big figure. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I got to get an interview. And I wasn't going to ask him like more of the political stuff, but more what was regarding Gen Z itself. But I was like, okay, I have to get this interview. They're probably not going to want me to do it. Yeah. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult because he has a schedule to keep, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I had to be like, okay, what are some cool connector pieces that we could have? Yeah. So I was thinking, like my speech beforehand, I was like, okay, we got to get the camera rolling. Yeah. We got to start walking, hit this strategic place, and then be like, so it's like using the skills that I had gained over the past year and putting them into action.
That's amazing. So, and patience.
Yes,
it took patience too,
because there's so many other people who were wanting to talk to him because people like him.
Absolutely.
And I was like, okay, I gotta be able to hit this at the right thing and then get him to say yes in an interview.
So what were your takeaways?
Just being able to just think on my feet and being able to do that was so fun. And I had to choose like what question I wanted to ask and, how I wanted to ask it to get the result I wanted to hear. Not that I wanted a certain like response, but just so it was a good information that he was
getting out. Exactly. You don't necessarily just want small talk. You want
I want an actual answer that was good.
And that's amazing.
And so that was really one of the most funnest ones, I think, just for me to just do.
Is it most funnest or funnest?
I don't know.
I think it's most fun, right? I don't know. I'm raising a preschooler, so I got to figure these things out. Hey, you know what? Let's talk about the social media for a second.
There's social media.
Yeah, that's been another thing. I have a history of building social media pages. I did I did a whole skate music page for a while, and I had felt like I had good results with that. Yeah. And then I've done music videos. That's actually my history. I was producing music videos, directing music videos, editing them. Sometimes I would cast in them. It was like so much. But from this has been one of the most impactful times that I've ever been on social media, and like the most outreach, the most positivity, the most encouragement. And I think that's part of like all the people who engage with our content and just, initiate this conversation and get involved in these conversations. I mean, even if it's just in the comments, that's really what keeps me going in this. You know what I mean? Because it's alive. It's very alive.
And that's one of the most amazing things is I didn't know it would grow this big, and then that people would actually know. So when we go to places now, and when I'm going to like interview people at certain events, people are starting to recognize us. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. It's also very scary.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, hold on.
Yeah, it's okay. God's got you. It's in God's hands. Right. It's in God's hands, yeah.
I was like, okay, that's really good. That's, something that I knew we wanted to do and grow it so people could actually be able to see our content, right? Yeah. But actually seeing the results is like, okay, wait, we could actually do that. That's crazy. And then, all glory to God, because that's not
absolutely
like we couldn't have done that without him allowing this to happen. And what's crazy is that we both have 6 million views now. on different platforms. So Tara actually got it on. We haven't had so much luck, I feel like, on Instagram for getting like really, really big. We've had like really good, like, you know, really good views on it, but you were actually able to get 6 million on Instagram, so that was really good. I think that was a really big milestone there.
Yeah, and it was for that. It was very simple, very basic. Just I took a meme that I saw. It was about the waves of feminism, and I thought it was a bit of a joke, you know, because it was saying that women is progressing into basically men are women now, right?
Right.
And you know, I mean, I feel like whether or not you agree with that, it's hard to deny, like, oh, wow, you know, like we were talking about last year, like, oh, you know, a biological man won Woman of the Year again. They won a beauty pageant. They're winning sports events. Right, they're dominating women. And I think I brought some, I don't know if you've ever heard of TERFs. You know what TERFs are?
I think so, yeah.
TERFs are, they're called, I found out about them from Dave Chappelle. They're called trans excluding radical feminists. So they're feminists who do not follow the trans movement. And I think a lot of them came out. And I don't know if you want to read some of those comments. It might be fun, but it was just interesting. And I did not mean to strike that kind of dialogue.
Right.
I was just kind of like, oh, this seems fun. You know,
like, just react to it.
Yeah. You know, just, you know, I did like a voiceover on it. And
yeah, I
put kind of a joke, you know, I mean, but it wasn't anything big. But it was interesting. So I think we struck gold in that way because it was like, oh, wow, people are talking, they're caring about their culture that they're living in. They're not just being passive. They're not, which is, I think, in 180, we're nonpartisan, but that's the one thing that we really stand against is being passive. You know, you have to get up and speak. You have to, you know.
Definitely. I mean, speaking up is definitely a big thing. I think that's what we wanted to do was bringing the younger generation into the conversation, but being able to like act on it and just being able to do it yourself. Like, I mean, one of the first things that I started on was voter registration, and that's actually a reminder to everybody. Voter registration is very important. That's how you're able to vote. Like, you have to register to vote. And you can do that pre-registered by 16. That's what I did. And this year I'm going to be able to vote for the first time. Wow. And just in time, I'll be turning 18 for the primaries. So this is going to be great. But it's a reminder to everybody. Pre-register if you haven't already.
And it's fantastic that I've always voted since I was 18. But I like, so many people are like, what? Vote?
Yeah.
Why would I do that with my time? No, don't think like that. Don't think so negatively. It's okay. Be positive. Things can go your way. You just have to take a step, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I wanted to share a verse, you know, saying, kind of following up on just all glory to be to God of all of this, all of our successes, all of the impact we've made, all of the connections we've made, all the guests on our podcast, even the hiccups, you know, even the learning curves.
Right.
I think, a lot of those. That's okay. Everybody has those. But there's just this verse that I always cling to, and it's really been in my head lately, really been in my heart. And it's Matthew 6:26, and it says, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?" And that was the, New International Version translation. So that is very powerful, and I think that that's been something I've always clung to in my walk, especially when I became a mother at 18. I mean, I was so clueless, so naive, so jaded, you know, upset, angry. You name the teenager, like I was that. You know, the not so great teenager characteristic, and but that verse helped me in my walk of becoming a mother and becoming striving to be a good mother, which I think striving is very important for us as Christians because we can always do better. But anyway, so I just wanted to share that to just say, you know, wherever you are at in life, you know, if you have bigger goals, just don't forget to take God with you, you know.
Yes.
Because only in his footsteps will you be able to follow into something greater, you know. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, what do we have going on culturally?
Okay, so we have a lot of stuff going on. I think, there's been a lot of stuff that has been happening. I mean, there's so many things like the Epstein files, right? Ooh. They dropped. But there's a lot more other stuff happening, especially with the election circling and just, being everywhere on the news. And I guess, I don't know, where do we want to jump into? Do we want to talk election
Well,
or
just since we were
non-politics first?
I don't know. Since we were already talking about teenagers, maybe we should just start with the Epstein files.
Epstein files.
Sorry, bad joke.
That was
Look, I didn't do it.
Very interesting, Tara. Well, you know what? We can talk about teenagers, but we could go in more with, I guess, a little bit more of a softer note right now.
Okay, I'm done.
No. So actually, so let's just talk about Gen Z, I guess, for right now, since we're doing teenager topic.
Sure, yeah.
So a recent poll or just survey actually indicated, it was done by Business Insider, indicated that Gen Z is now rejecting college and higher education. Okay, so it says...
Majority?
It says 39% consider advancing education important, only 39%. And
okay.
46% questioning the worth of college due to cost, which I think is a very
think... Okay, can I give my 2 cents on this really quickly?
Let's do this.
Okay, so I have not read that book, The College Scam, yet.
Okay, you know what? I have that on my bookshelves. I haven't read that because that's a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at Charlie Kirk's story, he was 18 when he started Turning Point. Like, you could almost say that was his college.
That's crazy.
And he started off with no money, no political connections, and look at what Turning Point is today. So, I think that there's a lot of truth to the saying college scam, But I myself, I take classes at the local community college. I've been doing that for years. I enjoy it. I go part-time, I like the I just like expanding my knowledge always. But do I agree with just like buckling down and, going to a university, stressing out over getting into one and then getting into one and then having to take out loans and then like worrying about living situations and then trying to like cram it all in like within 4 years. I personally don't agree with that. I mean, to each their own, but I think that basically, like, if you think about it from a business perspective, when you put money into something and you don't get a return within like 5 to 10 years of like a profit back, I don't think it's like a smart business decision. And that's just from...
That's interesting. Yeah.
I'm getting that from a book called Business Made Simple. And I would totally look that book up if you're interested in business. I think another thing I'm going to say is, like, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie Good Will Hunting, but there's that scene where that guy is like, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on an Ivy League education, and I'm getting the same education down at the local library for like $1.95 and like late fees, So I think there's that aspect of it, which is if you want to be educated... It takes self-discipline. It takes going to library, working, now you have the internet even, it's not as hard as you think to take initiative. How much time can you spend out of your day, doing self-education? I think that will pay off more than, getting a bachelor's degree in like philosophy or something, which is what my mom did, by the way. And she's always said, like, it didn't do anything for me. Got me into debt. That's it, right. So that's from a business side, but from a social side, again, I think college culture is very harmful. I think it messes with people. I think like the phrase best 4 years of my life is like toxic because it's just like, and it's all about babying 20-year-olds, in my opinion. Like you're babying them. That's not real life, especially when you get into some of these private colleges. So that's my 2 cents. Anyway, what do you think?
So that's actually, you made some really good points. Now, there's so many people that think that just getting a college education, and that no matter what degree you get, even though it's like, I guess, useless degree, is still, I guess, valuable in a sense, which I disagree with that. Okay. That may have been true at one point where getting any degree would help you, but now people are actually, I think now businesses are actually moving towards now not having college degrees as one of their prerequisites now, which is very interesting. Some businesses are moving towards like away from that because people aren't looking into college as much because it's so much money. I mean, for me, ever since I was small, I was like, I do not want to graduate college with debt. That's one of the biggest things ever. So right now I'm just working on a lot of scholarships because I'm like, I don't want to go to college if I'm going to have to pay money for that.
Really smart.
Because they're just outrageous. Right now I think that colleges are just like hiking up the prices because they can, because everybody's gonna go.
Yeah.
Because it's been fed to us that we must go. When in reality, nobody has to really go unless you have like a doctor. I mean, I think you probably should go if you're going to be a doctor or like a lawyer, I think. But even with that, without going to college, you can even pass the bar without,
it's true.
going to college. So these are so many, there's like a few professions that I think only a handful that you really need to go to college for.
Yeah.
Other things you can get from life experience and then also from like trade schools and things like that, which are probably more valuable. And I don't know, the prices for that were probably less, I would have to say. So
way
I think
less.
That,
I've seen those.
I think that like college can be useful for some people. So it's not a total scam, but I think that for a lot of other people, you don't just have to go.
Yeah, exactly. So it's to each their own.
Yeah. It's just depending on what you want to do in life.
But I personally have had great opportunities. I mean, one might say, well, you're not going to advance as much in your career without a college degree because you don't have that, piece of paper to prove your authority or like your work ethic or something. But I don't know. To that I say Quentin Tarantino didn't go to college, so.
Okay, well, another thing is, actually, I'm going to save that one for, I guess that one's a lighter note. Let's go in continuing with Gen Z, I guess.
Yeah.
So, New York Times poll shows that Trump is actually leading Biden with young voters. Okay.
I'm not that surprised.
No, this is very interesting. So, it says that Trump is leading 49 to 43% lead among young voters aged 18 to 29. Now, what I found interesting was that if I go to, let's see. If I go to this reel, so I found this reel the other day, okay, and this is by a person who has about 100,000 followers on Instagram, doesn't talk about politics, is more like life person.
Relatable,
whatever.
Cultural.
Just a cultural person, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And what it says is, I can't show it right now because I don't think you can see it, but it says that the caption of the video says, so we can all agree we are 100% not voting for Biden, right? And this is a young guy, Gen Z, obviously, in his young 20s, right? And he commented in his own post saying, the old man doesn't know it's 2024 yet.
And that's the thing. That's been the media push.
That's been what I've been seeing all over Instagram. Another person put, like, that.
Have you seen the jokes about Kamala Harris being his caregiver?
You know what? There's been so many of those jokes. Like, these people saying, like, that he can't even, like, understand what's happening.
Look, if he can't find the bathroom, should he really be running a country?
Right. That's what they've been saying. And
it's a good question.
People are saying that I hated Trump, and that's why I voted for Biden in the last election. But I'm going to be real. After all this went bad, Biden stepped into office. I ain't going to deny anything.
Yeah.
Like, this all went bad after.
Now, speaking of the Clintons, I am curious about the Epstein files.
Okay. I'll get to that in a second, though. Okay.
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
I'm getting there. Yes, I'm getting there eventually. Now, so a lot of people I'm seeing just a lot of hate for Joe Biden right now.
I've noticed that,
and,
well, that's funny.
It's all from the young people, and that's what I think reflected in that poll that they took. Right?
Yeah.
And another thing that I found interesting was the New York Post did one, said that Joe Biden spent 37% of 2023 enjoying a getaway spot, or 138 days in 2023.
Wow.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, I remember people accusing Trump of the same thing, like, oh, he's out golfing,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
It's a lot of interesting stuff.
I do notice that stuff about Biden, and then the thing is, he doesn't really, like, when he tries to defend himself, it just doesn't work, and then it's just like, what?
Now,
so
since we're on this sort of train, we can finally get to what you were talking about.
The Epstein files. So, okay, can I just bring something up?
Yes.
I heard that, like, some of, and, I don't even know if this is accurate or not, but basically, that some of the Epstein files were like stolen or burned or something like that. Is that true?
You
like
know what?
some of them got erased? I don't know. Like right before they were supposed to get out, a bunch of them like got lost or something. I would
have to look into that because I don't know about that. I haven't heard anything about that. That is what I absolutely is just frustrating, and I'll get into that in a moment, is that a lot of people don't know what's real anymore or what's going on because media outlets
#fake news.
Okay. Media outlets are just reporting on news that is old and making it seem like it's something recent and new. So this is what I mean by it. So on Monday, multiple media outlets actually ran reports of Trump being named in the Epstein documents, right?
Yikes.
He was one of the people that were named as one of the people involved. Now...
what does that mean?
That he was, like, doing stuff, I guess.
Oh, disappointing.
And now, very interestingly, is that those were actually accusations from 2019, and the accuser who made those accusations actually retracted those statements.
Retracted them?
Yeah, so saying that they were just false.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was reported as news all over the place. Like, it was new news that had just, like, broken right now. Because, I mean, the Epstein files came out, and everybody was taking it as, like, real fact that just happened. And then, and then everybody was like, yes, we got him on something.
Yeah.
And it was super interesting to find out that later they were all... Those
news
articles were then being buried.
And you never know.
It wasn't true.
Because one could say, like, what, maybe they were threatened. But it's also, like, when I think of Trump and his flaws, I don't really think pedophile. I mean, he doesn't seem like one. He does seem like, okay, like maybe like a womanizer. I mean, I feel like one could like...
one could say that, right?
And maybe, like too brutal with business sometimes. No. But I never, like, if you just look at him and his personality, he doesn't strike me as a pedophile.
And one very interesting thing is that everybody, like, at least a lot of people do hate Trump, right? And if they really wanted to get him on something, I think that this would have come out earlier when they were trying to make they were already trying to make a bunch of allegations. Remember that?
Oh, man.
If it really happened, I think that these would all be out by now. But who knows,
I know that there have been photos of him with Epstein.
Now, interestingly, though, is that he actually banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago back way back then, like in the 2000s.
So maybe 2000s. He was like, hey, I know what you're doing. You need to stop. That's not cool. Like, get away from me,
Right. And then that's
what we don't know because we weren't there. We're just guessing. It's so frustrating when you don't know. You're
that
just
is
guessing.
Frustrating, and then you also have media mixing up stories. So I don't really know what's happening at that point. It's just like, come on, guys.
It's just like on the radar. Anyway.
Yeah. No, and there's a lot of big people out there. I think the biggest names that I've seen so far is like Bill Clinton was one of the top people like that are constantly like being reported on right now, and Prince Andrew. Yeah. He's one of the sons of Queen Elizabeth.
Man, I am honestly always mixing up Bill Clinton and Joe Biden. I just mix those two up like all the time.
No.
I mix their face up. I mean, like,
do they really look that similar?
For a while, I was like, wait, Joe Biden, that's the one that's married to Hillary Clinton. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
No, that
doesn't make sense. All right, whatever. Sorry, forgive me.
And a lot of people are there's like a lot of names on that that have been released. Now, again, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, and that's one of the things that I think everybody should be reminded of, because like you're not like, unless it was like described in heavily detail what happened. The people's names that are just like mentioned there doesn't mean that they did anything.
Well, I've heard that Hillary was actually like heavily involved. Do I know if that's true or not? No, like we said, we don't know if this is true. But Hillary, it would kind of make sense though. I don't know.
Now,
awfulness. I just want to rebuke those bad vibes.
Yeah. Now, kind of switching topics a tiny little bit, we're moving over to Michelle Obama, right? So now Michelle Obama, she is the former First Lady. Now, she was actually saying on a podcast, too bad it wasn't ours.
Yeah.
She had an interview on a podcast where she was talking about 2024 presidential election, and she was quoted with saying, "I'm terrified about what could happen." And then apparently it keeps her up at night about what's going to happen with the election, which honestly
good old Michael has some insomnia.
Michelle, yeah. Now, what was very interesting is that like she's mentioning the concerns, and I think it also echoed her husband's as well, about what's going to happen in this election year. But what is interesting is that all the comments down below were like, we are scared about what's going to happen. Like, who knows what's going to happen. But it's just like,
it's so annoying though, because like both sides are saying that about the other side.
I know.
Like, you know what it feels like? I haven't had to experience this like heavily, but I've seen it. You know, it's like pick which parent you want to live with.
Oh.
6-year-old child. And the child's like, huh.
They're like, I don't know which one.
They're like, I'm 6 and I'm hungry.
Yeah, no, it's just so interesting.
That's what it feels like right now. It feels like the grown-ups are not making sense, not being mature, and everybody else in the country is just like, oh, I have to pick a side.
The thing is
the other
that
one is like bad mouthing the other
no
one.
matter what happens, is that she doesn't get affected as badly. Like,
Yeah.
like,
oh yeah, I know, right?
it's just
That's annoying. That's annoying. Oh well, one could say like she's worried about people. Every time I think about Michelle Obama, I just think about that iCarly episode. It's like
which one?
the one where Michelle Obama showed up.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember. Dude, I could be more educated in politics.
Oh
I
my
should be.
God.
I feel I'm pretty average.
I mean, no, I mean, to be here, I mean, you gotta know something, right?
Yeah. Right.
Come on. Give yourself a little more credit. But what's very interesting is that there's a lot of cool stuff happening, guys. This is great.
All right.
We have some sort
South
of
Korea.
like miscellaneous topics we could talk about. Okay?
Yes.
I'll start with what's been happening here in California. So there's something that happened. It's not something that happened, I guess, but it's like some cool news, I guess, is that here in California, police must state why they pulled you over rather than asking you why. So you know how they ask you, do you know why I pulled you over?
Yeah, I hate it when they ask that.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. You're the one who pulled me over.
I don't know. Am I ugly? What? What is it? What is it? Like,
They're being racist. You just pull that one over. But anyways, as of January 1st of this year, they now cannot ask that. They have to tell you why.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds so petty. I'm sorry. It wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, it bothered me, but that's petty. I can admit that that's petty, you know?
No. Yeah, I get that. And that's just a little thing that I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not driving, but okay, cool.
Yeah.
I probably should get my driver's license this year, guys.
Yeah.
This is probably a big thing.
Dude, just practice, man.
Yeah.
I learned how to drive on the LA freeways, so I'm like, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like any other city. Maybe New York.
Mm.
Okay, New York is probably worse. But but yeah, it's very difficult.
That'll be good, guys.
But man, is there water in your
Miscellaneous.
phone?
No, it's oil, guys.
It's
my
oil.
phone is, I don't know.
Okay.
If you can see it.
Sorry, sidetrack.
Okay.
This has an Android. Oh, don't
Oh my
say
goodness. Okay. I think this is going off topic now.
that. Sorry.
No.
Like gerbil brain.
Let's go, I guess, across the world. So global politics, maybe? I don't know.
Yes.
Or just other country politics.
Yes.
Okay.
Other country politics.
So France actually just appointed its youngest. He's 34.
Oui.
Prime Minister, and he also happens to be the first openly gay prime minister.
Oh wow.
So
Sorry.
this is going off the rails now.
You can't.
Moving on. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at a little bit more happier note right here.
Yes.
Okay, so South Korea actually passed a law banning dog meat trade. Okay, so if you didn't know that was a thing,
What?
they sell dog
No.
meat and they eat
I
them.
thought it was racist to assume that.
No, they actually do that.
Are you being racist right now?
No.
I can't tell.
I can clearly say that.
Dude, what? What
Yeah.
kind of dogs?
Just
Not poodles, right?
what? I don't know.
Not poodles. Please. I love poodles.
I'm not sure what dogs,
Oh,
but
that's
I wouldn't.
making me so sad.
I don't think I want to know. But anyways, they're banning that, guys.
Oh, good.
Okay, they're
Thank God.
banning it.
That
They're
was like
banning
a
it. This
bad
is-
news, good news
This
situation.
is a bad news, good news. Yes, I know.
Bad news. They were eating dog meat. Good news.
Good news, it's being
It's
banned.
being banned.
Let's
Okay,
go.
good.
Yeah, so it's being banned by 2027. Okay.
Oh,
no,
come on.
this is okay. No,
Bad
hold on.
news.
So, you know what? I think this makes sense though. Okay, just listen to this. It's terrible. I hate that. Okay, dogs are so cute. But they're giving them 3 years to allow for farmers and restaurants and stuff like that to transition.
Oh.
Okay, because people are gonna start
jeez.
going out of
Yeah.
business now
Oh, man.
and have to find something else to do in life, which is probably for the best.
Yeah.
But it's like, they need time to transition, I guess. So that's what they're giving the 3 years for.
Well, that's considerate. Unless you're a dog, in which case that's very scary.
No.
Tara. No. Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
No.
Okay, what's next?
So another one. Okay, so this
Pope Francis.
Yes, Pope Francis. Okay, he's been such a controversial figure, I think, right now.
Dude, what did he just say? Wait, let me see if I can recite it from memory. Gay is okay.
Okay.
I knew it.
Sort of. So what happened was he had he's allowing gays to be blessed in the Catholic Church, not to be wed by the Catholic Church, but to be blessed by them. Okay. That's something that a lot of people are getting confused about. Is like, so what's happening? He's allowing them to be blessed in the church, I guess, and I don't. That's what he decided.
Yeah. What does the blessing sound like? Is it like, I hope you
have a good
better
life?
I don't know. Okay.
But
hope you don't adopt.
So very interestingly,
oh my goodness. Just
another one. Okay, so another thing that came out was so that he calls for a ban on surrogcy.
Surrogacy. That took me a second.
Surrogacy.
Somebody asked me to be a surrogate one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, nope.
So very interestingly, is a very controversial kind of thing. Is surrogacy. Now, if somebody can't have children, they have another person.
And then it becomes your best friend. Person, woman, right?
Yeah, the woman is gonna basically have the child for you, right?
So
that's
weird.
It's been very interesting. Some people are
weird.
totally okay with it. Some women do this and they make money off of it. This is how they make money. People pay a lot of money to get this.
Didn't Kim K pay
I don't know.
It was something crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of women who who do this
so much money
because they need the money. I think in this economy right now, and so
that's
a lot of people.
Yeah,
I'm not damaging to the woman because you form a bond with the child, and also how traumatizing. I don't know how traumatizing it must be for the child to hear the mother's voice all the time and then be separated for their parents that they're gonna have. And you know what? I know. I'm sorry. That's just surrogacy.
After the dog thing.
I'm sorry. This is what's happening.
I can't take
but so Pope Francis is describing it as a deplorable practice that violates the dignity of women and children. Now, some people were getting very, very upset about this, saying, well, what about the people who can't, have children? And so that's pretty much up for people to debate about.
Well, there's definitely lots of kids that need to be adopted.
Right. There is a lot of children that need homes and that who would love to have have a family. But one thing that he said is that children should not be considered a gift, or no, that they should be considered a gift, and that they should.
Wait, what?
And that there shouldn't the value of the child shouldn't be based off of their commercial value, right? Or commercial contract or whatever.
No, it does make it seem like a kid is to material,
right?
Like a material good.
Yeah,
which is this is like a whole human being.
Now, well, one person commented, because I was looking at people's responses to what this was. Some person put, how does he think that a gay couple who he just allowed to be married within the Catholic Church have children? Very interestingly, first thing, he doesn't, it's not to be married within the Catholic Church, but to be blessed. But with that aside, I can't hear myself anymore. Can you all hear us over there?
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I can hear you, yeah.
I can't hear me. Oh, no, it's back. Okay.
Hooray.
Oh, no, again.
Just cute talking.
So what's happening is that, the couple...
they were basically saying you're a hypocrite because you're blessing the gay men, but you're judging the surrogates.
How are they supposed to have children? Another person replied with, unless that's his whole plan for them not to procreate.
Ooh,
so that's a very interesting...
Unless it's whose plan?
His plan, Pope Francis's plan. So he
for
allows
them
them
to procreate.
Well,
the gay people?
For the gay people not to have children.
Oh, so they can't hire a surrogate.
They are raising the point, is Pope Francis's real idea just to show everybody how I guess virtuous he is to
he's
all
playing the game of chess.
Right. And then actually behind the scenes it's but let me just ban surrogacy so you can't have children.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting point to be raised.
Is it
Is
healthy?
that his mindset behind it?
I mean, it does raise
I
a question, which I think is not asked enough, which is it healthy to raise a child in a relationship with two men? You know? And I know, like, Modern Family romanticizes the idea, but in reality, should two gay men really be raising a little girl? I mean, it's just a question, you know? I mean, I'm not even trying to be offensive. I'm just like, that little girl is going to have to go through things that neither of those men, and then you'll be like, well, what about the single dad? What about the divorced parents? What about the blah, 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 blah? I'm just like, okay, no, I'm not talking about those people. Like, I'm talking about, like, why would you, like, get into a situation like this that's not ideal, you know? Like, it should be, like, should it be counterculture, you know? Because that little girl, will she be damaged? Will she be confused? Like, she very well could be, you know, without a woman in her life, you know, a significant woman. Anyway, so that's interesting. But maybe he is playing a game of chess with some.
We don't really know,
tactics.
obviously, because we don't have, like, his mindset or, like, in his mind.
Yeah.
But I think that was a very interesting point to be raised. I mean, you know.
I love these conversations that happen
in the comment section of things.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to mention something that happened today. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I was on Instagram, right? And I was looking through, you know, stuff, and I found a headline that said that some guy that I love, his name is, he's a Japanese animation legend. I was like, hold on. His name is Hayao Miyazaki. I think
Miyazaki, right?
Yeah, he's the co-founder of
Is that his first
Studio
name?
Ghibli.
Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah, he
did Spirited Away.
Yes. He did
Kiki's Delivery Service, Princess Mononoke. Yeah. Okay.
Howl's Moving Castle,
Gen
my
Z,
favorite one.
Yes.
Okay, come on. These are amazing.
Yes.
So he's a co-founder of Studio Ghibli. Everybody loves that in Gen Z.
Yeah.
At least
oh my gosh.
some people.
Okay, wait. Tell me about this guy. I love this guy.
I was scrolling on Instagram and I see the headline, his name, and then I just switched to his age, which is 82. So I'm like freaking out. Oh my goodness, did he die? Okay. I look at the comment section. Everybody's like, oh my goodness, people need to check with he is not dead or something on there, because it literally almost read as if it was like a funeral, like he died. Ooh. But in reality, it was just announcing that he finally got his first Golden Globe at 82.
Oh, clickbait.
No, it wasn't. But it's like, you look at it and it's framed in such a way that it seems like he had just died. And everybody's first comment, like the first 3 comments are like, "Hold on, it looked like he was, I almost had a heart attack."
Shot straight to the top of the Golden Globes.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hold on." I was like, "Okay, this is not right."
No, that'd be so sad. But he is getting up there.
He is getting up there. But the fact is, what I found even sadder is that his only his first Golden Globe at 82.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's something else going on there. Have they not seen Spirited Away?
Like
what? Golden Globe.
Howl's Moving Castle? Come on.
Yeah, that's disrespectful. I've heard of people getting Golden Globes that were just like,
hold on, why? But like,
Miyazaki is one of the greatest
so
filmmakers.
Good at just all this. I mean, these are amazing movies that I think like shaped Gen Z in a way. Like,
oh yeah,
you know,
grab a Gen Zer and ask them if they've ever heard of Miyazaki. Yeah, right?
Yeah. And it's just like, what in the world that's just crazy. I was outraged.
They're just manipulating us because we care about him. That's all.
Yeah. No, and it was not a fun day with it. But that's all the headlines I have for today. So you want to talk about something else that's been happening?
Okay. All right. Well.
Okay, well, I mean, I found something else, guys. The national debt hits a record of $34 trillion.
Okay, can I say something about that? Okay, yeah. I slightly improved my credit, right? And then it's just like, I get like a flood of mail that's like, you're pre-approved for $2,000, you're pre-approved. And it's just like, what? So I'm like locking down and I'm just like, this. And then there was even a woman who even said, it was like someone important, like, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi or something like that. I don't even remember if you want to say she's important or not, whatever. Anyway, but she was like a figure, and she was like saying, like, to solve the debt problem, people need to get into more debt, and that way their debt ceiling is higher, so the debt that they have is lower. And it was just like, what? Can you, like, imagine all the possibilities? You're just like opening up all these doors for like fraud and stuff like that, you know? I mean, really bad, you know.
It's crazy.
That advice is awful. Avoid debt. No. Avoid debt, Gen Z. Avoid debt.
Let's do our best to do that. Now, actually, kind of just piggybacking off of that, a study found that 62% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck during the holiday season. Okay.
I can attest to that.
So yeah, I think we probably can all do that because it's 62%. I mean, that's a lot of Americans, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about how people can't afford to buy presents.
Can I just say something else too?
Yeah.
Think about how, I don't want to say the word inflation because I don't want to like flag, but I already said it, so I'm just gonna go with it. So, think about how inflation affects people on Social Security, like people who are on a fixed income.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's so it's just like their money is, you know, you can almost jump down classes. You can be an upper class person on your Social Security, and then the economy just everything becomes more expensive, and then suddenly you're like a middle class to like lower middle class person, you know? And I think we're seeing a lot of that. And I'm getting this information from just like talking to people who like retired people who are on Social Security. And like they're just like, this is crazy. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't go back to work, you know? I'm on Social Security, and it's like, and that was kind of the thing that I was talking about, like having to choose between gas and food.
Right,
like some
right.
people literally are like in that position right now. I was even hearing someone say like, what talk about a recession? This is the recession. And I was just like, what? Like,
yeah.
you know, I mean, if you have to pay, but it's an interesting topic, you know? I mean,
I have another thing to announce.
yeah.
Okay, so actually, just before coming on to the podcast, I remembered hearing somebody say that someone said Melania Trump, so her mother had just passed.
Oh, what's her mom's name? Amalia.
So I'm not trying to pronounce it. I'm not trying to pronounce it.
Amalia.
But she had just passed
Sorry,
at
that
the
was
age
disrespectful.
she just passed, Sarah. Come on.
I'm really sorry.
She just passed at the age of 78.
Oh, that's young.
Following an illness.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, so she had just passed. That's terrible. But so that's just some really, really recent news that it was just announced.
Man,
today.
imagine Melania Trump's life, dude. Everybody like either hates or loves her husband.
Okay, let's see.
Like, there's no middle.
Yeah, I know. I want to see if there's anything other things going on.
Look, oh my gosh, wait, okay,
that's the
hang
one that I
on.
saw for South Korea. You want to see it?
Sad.
This
Look,
is really
that's
sad.
the South Korea thing. You gotta see that. Look at that.
Oh wait, no,
That's
switched.
the puppy. Oh, I have a
Look
puppy.
how sad.
Well, I have
Everybody
a dog.
must be sad about that. Okay, and what's crazy is that no, a lot of people saying underneath that is saying that it's crazy. Why hasn't this been passed like years ago? You know.
Yeah.
And then one person said, finally some good news in 2024, which is, you know, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how
Well,
you
it's
look
been
at it, it's like, are you a glass half
24
full
for, like, a
person?
week, yeah.
You know,
Glass half full.
kind of situation here.
That is so funny. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
that's so interesting.
Well, hey, do you wanna start wrapping up? I think we covered everything.
I think we did, but I don't know how much time do we have left.
Well, it's
something
8:05
that
right now.
I do not know.
It's 8:05 right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Oh wow.
yeah, just to kind
Oh.
of start closing things, you know. Oh, was that Elvis? I
No,
just saw?
that was Elvis. Elvis would have been 89 years old this year.
That's young in my book. Like, you know, when you start getting to like late 90s and you're like old.
That's true. Did you hear about the plane that it's a Boeing that actually had like their door of the plane fell off?
Great. That's just terrible.
Yeah. So it happened on an Alaskan Airlines
gosh.
incident.
Jeez. Why did that happen?
You know what? Some loose bolts.
Loose bolts?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to need a better excuse than that. That's awful.
Yeah,
Well, there were
and
just some loose bolts.
some people are now saying like, okay, well they're not gonna they're gonna start asking like, did you check the bolts on the door?
Yeah.
No, and this isn't
Great,
the
another
first time, by
10
the
minutes
way.
cut added to my delay.
I'm pretty sure this isn't even the first time that this has happened.
That's
with this
terrifying.
Type of,
dude. Oh,
it's the
that's
type
really
of
bad.
plane though
Yeah.
that they were using. So
Flying
that's just
can
an
be
interesting
scary.
thing, guys. Just
So.
wrapping that stuff up, but yeah.
Anyway.
So it's been fun. It's been great. We're hoping to have a great new year.
I think the most dramatic things were the Epstein files, because that's been like on people's radar for a long time, and we've just been in waiting trying to figure out who's a perv and who's not. And
Right.
it's just difficult. And anyway,
know.
but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. I mean, we have a lot of this year to cover. I feel like so much has already happened, to be honest, but it's only the first 9 days of 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and my birthday's coming up this month, guys.
Woohoo! January 20th.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Okay, what's a goal or like a, I don't know, like goal, ambition, I don't know, for 2024 for you?
Oh man, I haven't thought about that yet.
Okay, well,
like that's a pretty big one. I mean,
you want to hear mine?
yeah.
You think about yours. Okay, I'm gonna
I'm
say
thinking
mine. Mine is to listen more.
Okay.
Because I do have, everybody has character defects, but one of mine is I just don't listen, and I think it comes off as like I'm disrespectful or like I'm, a know-it-all or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it really stems from, because at first I was like, well, I can't help it,
Mm-hmm.
But I think just, after my grandma passed away after Thanksgiving, it was like, oh, I got so sad. And then I was like, I want to be better. Like my grandma was always telling me, like, be better. You can easily, and she was amazing woman.
From when I saw her, she's really nice.
She's amazing. She lived to be 96 years old. We're going to be having a celebration of life service actually, on Monday if you want to come. Anyway, but she's just an amazing woman, and she always encouraged me. She just said, like, there's nothing stopping you from living out your dreams. Like, she was just like that kind of person, super optimistic, super positive, always speaking like wisdom and truth and love and kindness over me and my whole family. And anyway, but just self-evaluating my, for me is kind of been like, oh, I like don't listen. And I think I listen, but, I think I have ADHD too. So I feel like I've heard someone when they say something to me, even though I haven't heard them. And it's like my mind is moving so fast all the time that it's like, oh, yeah, I heard what you said. Like, I finished your sentence in my head. You don't need to finish it, like, and I do that a lot. Like, and so yeah, but anyway, that's my goal, is to listen more. Really listen, because then I'll be able to learn. I'll be able to apply. I'll be able to eventually like gain wisdom from just listening to even people my age. Oh, you're in pain, you're hurting. Okay, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna really listen. So anyway,
yeah.
Okay. Did you think of anything?
Well, I mean, I know, like, I guess I don't know if this necessarily applies, but spiritually, a goal would be like memorizing scripture, I think, for me.
Oh, really?
That's a big one for me.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's always been something, like, that floats around. I know, like, a few verses and things like that. But I think that it's very important to have his word stored up in your heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think that memorizing scripture is probably a better thing. Because I've noticed a lot of people are able to, like, say things off the top of their head. And I'm like, okay, with me, it's like I struggle a little bit. I know, a few verses in there. But I think that it'd be better if I start off with having that in my heart and being able to recall that, especially when times get tough. And so I think that's something that I definitely want to work on this year.
That's amazing.
So,
that's a really good goal.
Well,
yeah. I guess with that, we'll close up. But hey, you know what? Everyone online, if you're watching this video right now, go type into the comments what one of your goals or one of your ambitions is for 2024, whether it be like your mental health, your, physical goal, like you want to start working out. Just type it in the comments right now. And yeah. So we just want to see you. We want to see you. We want to hear from you. So yeah. But anyway,
we always want to engage. We want you guys to engage. We want to know how you guys are thinking, and if you disagree with us, we would love to hear it. And not to debate you, but to understand, like, why you think that way. It's so interesting to me. I mean, that's kind of what started us on this journey. I think it's just understanding people and why they think the way they do. At least personally for me is finding that out, because it's so interesting. I learned that people always have a reason behind what why they think the way they think, and what shaped their like outlook on life is how they were raised and what situation they were raised in, right? So it's pretty interesting, and that's one thing that I learned last year in the beginning of the year. I went to like this kind of school thing, and it taught me a lot from there. So I've definitely been applying that throughout the year.
That's amazing.
With 180, but hopefully to continue carrying this into the next year and have people on that don't agree with us, but also
I would love that.
Yeah, honestly,
I might drive
I'm
them
begging
crazy,
people,
but
please, guys, come on.
But anyway, just talking to you guys, it's so awesome. It's so nice to see the life and the just the words that you guys bring. So. Anyway.
If you want to find our email address, you could always send us a DM as well. But you can also find our stuff on our website, 180shift.org. And then our Instagram is 180shift. And then
I've done that before too.
And then TikTok and Twitter are both 180.shift. So so you can catch us there. We would love to see you.
Yes,
and share with your family and friends. Yes. Follow us. And also remember, election season is coming. Vote. Register to vote if you haven't already. I mean, and also if you can't vote this year, pre-registering takes it off your mind for later.
Yes, absolutely. And if you have any little spark to be on the podcast, please email us, DM us. We'll get to it. And
if we ignore it, or we might have just not seen it and forgotten. I'm sorry.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Apologies.
You know what? We're going to do better. Okay. Email us. Go to our website, 180shift.org, right? Because I always say 180 Movement. Which you can also go there, right? 180movement.org.
You can also go there as well.
Either one. Go there. We'd love to have your beautiful or handsome face on our show. So thank you so much, everybody, and have a good night.
Yes. Bye.
Happy New Year.